A quick roundup of global developments only on StratNews Global. Students at Oxford University have set up a pro-Palestinian protest encampment to protest Israel's war on Gaza, mirroring similar protests across universities in the US. Joined by faculty members, students erected dozens of tents on the lawns outside the Oxford University Museum of Natural History. The students also listed their demands on a poster stating they wanted the universities to disclose all finances, divest from Israeli genocide, apartheid, and occupation, and overhaul their investment policies and support Palestinian-led rebuilding of education in Gaza.
We really hope that, the UK doesn't turn around and engage the same kind of violence against us. But at the end of the day, it's not going to stop us, and it's not stopping the students in America. We're here, to disrupt. We're here to end. We're here to stand up against genocide, and we're here to stand up against hate.
The Golden Ball trophy that Diego Maradona won for being named the best player at the 1986 World Cup will be auctioned in France next month. This is the first Golden Ball to go for auction and is expected to fetch millions on June 6th. Maradona, who died in 2020, won the award after leading Argentina to World Cup victory in Mexico, scoring 5 goals at the finals where he captained his country. That tournament is remembered for Maradona's 2 goals against England in the quarter-finals. One of them was dubbed by him as being scored by the hand of God. The other was voted as the goal of the century. Trucks of aid were seen lined up on the road in Egypt's Rafa after Israel took control of the Palestinian side of border crossing. Other trucks originally bound for Rafa on the Egyptian side of the border, then for Gaza, remained in city of Arish. Red Crescent sources in Egypt said aid to Gaza had completely halted at Rafah and at the Israeli-controlled Kerem Shalom crossing. Israeli Army radio had earlier announced its forces were in Rafah, and army footage showed tanks rolling through the crossing point and the Israeli flag raised on the Gaza side. Soon after Vladimir Putin was sworn in as Russia's president for the 5th term, he reviewed troops at the Cathedral Square and later attended a mass at a church. Putin has been in power as president or prime minister since 1999, begins his new mandate more than 2 years after he sent troops into Ukraine, where Russian forces have regained the initiative after a series of reversals and are seeking to advance further in the east. French President Emmanuel Macron welcomed Chinese President Xi Jinping to the Pyrenees Mountains on the 2nd day of the latter's trip to France. Macron and his wife greeted their Chinese counterparts at the airport in windy, cold weather, took them to have lunch in the mountains dear to Macron as the birthplace of his maternal grandmother. The restaurant is about an hour's drive from the airport, where the power couples ate lamb, cheese and blueberry pie. As one of the largest creditors, China must play a greater role overall in order to reduce the debt burden of the poorest countries in the long term, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has told the Global Solutions Summit in Berlin. Scholz said he spoke to Chinese President Xi Jinping during his trip to Beijing about China's role in helping poor countries with debt. He also called on China, India and Brazil to engage more in Ukraine peace talks. Sri Lanka is committed to achieving debt sustainability at the earliest and aims to halve the servicing costs once it completes the debt restructuring process, its central bank chief has said. Cash-strapped Sri Lanka rejected international bondholders' proposal in April to restructure more than $12 billion in debt, putting at risk critical International Monetary Fund support and delaying its effort to resolve a 2-year-long debt crisis. Sri Lanka has already struck a deal with its main government creditors, but an agreement in principle with bondholders is also needed to secure IMF board approval for the next $337 million installment. Mayor of London Sadiq Khan has signed the declaration of office after being re-elected for a 3rd term, helping to cement the Labour Party's commanding lead over the governing Conservatives in local polls ahead of Britain's national election later this year. He claimed 43.8% of the vote, enough to beat the Conservatives candidate Susan Hall, who took 33%.
To be signed in as your mayor for a historic 3rd term is an honour I can't put into words. You know, a couple of days ago, Donald Trump said that London had, and I quote, opened the door to extremism. He couldn't be more wrong. The truth is, through the results of this election, Londoners have slammed the door shut on his brand of hard right populism.
UN nuclear watchdog chief Rafael Grossi has met Iranian nuclear chief Mohammad Islami in Isfahan to bolster the International Atomic Energy Agency's oversight of Tehran's atomic activities. Talks between the two were positive and productive, Islami said at a joint press conference after the meeting. Last year, Tehran gave sweeping assurances to the UN nuclear watchdog that it will assist a long-stalled investigation into uranium particles found at undeclared sites and reinstall removed monitoring equipment. But little came of those assurances. IAEA reports to member states show.